I think Dr. Sam set it up right when he said it was going to be a critical approach to his recommendations. Definitely want to listen to again. Definitely want to listen to again. We have two final speakers who I'm sure we're excited to welcome. The first of which is Mr. Leke Alder. Yes. Leke Alder is the founder and principal of Alder Consulting, Nigeria's leading creative intelligence firm with offices in Lagos and London. He is credited with introducing branding as a discipline to Nigeria and has consulted on policy, politics, and business at the highest levels, locally and internationally. He has also consulted on political strategy and communication campaigns at national and subnational levels. Leke Alder wrote the blueprint for Nigeria's image management program, the Heart of Africa project, and was chief consultant to the federal government on the project. He was a member of the steering committee for the World Economic Forum on Africa, which held in Nigeria, and the chairman of the subcommittee on media, hosts, broadcasting, and advertising. He has served as a panelist on the annual Africa Business Conferences of Harvard Business School, Wharton Business School, and Kellogg School of Management. Leke Alder is a celebrated author, lawyer, polymath, and philanthropist whose photographs and furniture designs have raised millions of naira for 9 orphanages supported by his foundation. He's a patriot and a Nigerian, married to Morenike, and they're blessed with 2 children, Olamide and Toluwani. Please welcome warmly Mr. Leke Alder once again to the platform, Nigeria.
Please be seated. It's good to be back here. Let me begin by first acknowledging the speakers that have spoken before me. I was in an intellectual heaven listening to Dr. Amadi. And I listened to the other speakers in the waiting room. And it just tells you the quality of the platform. I also want to thank 2 people who came with me, my daughter, Olamide. She's come to give moral support. And Mr. Akinyafere is with the technical people. He's the head of strategy at Alder Consulting. And I want to thank him for coming. I want to begin by thanking Pastor Kojo Yemade and the citizens of Covenant Nation for inviting me once more to speak at the platform. There are 2 remarkable things about the platform. The first is the fact that the platform is organized by a religious institution. Religion in human understanding does not tolerate thinking, but the platform is about thinking. In the platform, therefore, we see the juxtaposition of faith and reason, the creation of a hybridization called thinking faith. To the extent that the Bible says that, come now, let's reason together, platform is Bible compliant. The second notable thing about the platform is that it has become a formidable rostrum for the free exchange of ideas. People underestimate the power of ideas. Some time ago, I read a disparage about the platform on social media. The gentleman said that the platform is nothing but a talk shop. And I realized that that gentleman had no knowledge of human history. Human history is the history of talk shops and ideas. What that gentleman did not know was that the preamble to the Nigerian Constitution borrowed ideas from the preamble to the American Declaration of Independence, which in turn borrowed ideas from the great thinkers of the Age of Enlightenment or the Age of Reason in Europe. Thinkers like John Locke, Rousseau, Bacon, Hobbes, Descartes. And so the very idea of Nigeria, its 28th century conception, is borrowed from 18th century thinking. And to the extent that the platform allows for free intellectual intercourse, it becomes a formidable instrumentality in the propagation of the concept of Nigerianism, the very logic of our agglutinated federalism, the very definition of who we are as a people, the formalization of our identities as citizens of a sovereign state, without which we raise the challenge of Lucifer. A being without a state, without a nationality, and without a passport is therefore condemned to terrorism. May ideas continue to fructify at the platform. The theme for this year's platform is rather interesting. It tasks us to identify what the next leadership of the country should do, what we should look out for. It is asking a very critical question: how do we create a better Nigeria? Clearly, this question is pointing to the next election. And so I'm going to do two things that have never been done at the platform. First, I'm going to do a poll. No, I'm not going to poll your choice of candidate to postulate the outcome of the election. The reason we can't do that is because our sample size is not representative. It will produce a skewed result. Besides, the parties may seek to influence the results by directing people to favor their candidate and vote for their candidate. So we're not going to do that. But I can probe your motivation. Motivation determines voting pattern. I've been consulting in politics now for almost 20 years, and I can tell you that motivation matters. Thousands more, that about 2,000 people seated in this auditorium, thousands more are watching online and on TV. We therefore have more than enough sample size to probe the motivation of urban youth in a quasi-secular setting. Urban youth in a quasi-secular setting. Second, I'm going to do level 1 analysis of the presidential candidates for you. That means I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm going to discipline what is out there and put them together for you. I will restrict my analysis to the assumed 3 front runners: Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, and Peter Obi. Now, in order to do our poll, I've created 7 typologies, 7 voter identities that we technically call voter typology in my profession. These are likely the 7 types of voters in the upcoming election, likely. And as I read them out and I identify them, I hope you can identify yourself as well. Number 1 voter is the ethnic voter. Is going to vote for a candidate solely based on tribe and ethnicity. Ethnicity will determine his choice. He's going to vote for Tinubu because both he and Tinubu are Yoruba. He will vote for Atiku because both he and Atiku are Hausa, Fulani. And he will vote for Peter Obi because both he and Peter Obi are Igbo. It is not as if he has no other basis to vote, but his ethnicity is the strongest identity that he has. It is his primary motivation. So the first voter that we have is the ethnic voter. Are you an ethnic voter? You don't need to reply me. Now, the second type of voter is the religious voter. He's going to vote based on the religion of the candidates, either for or against. He will vote for either Tinubu and Atiku, or vote against them because they are Muslim. He will vote for or against Obi because Obi is a Christian. I want you to note one thing, however. The religious voter can't vote from morbid persuasion. He may vote for a presidential candidate from the other religion, believing the candidate will die and his religionists will take over. Now he's prone to this. He's prone to this because of the principles of prophecy and fatalism that is embedded in religion. The third type of voter is the party man. He will vote for either of 2 reasons. One is a member of the party of a particular candidate, or second, because his state, local government area, his people traditionally vote for a particular party. The reason for this can go all the way back to Nigeria's independence, the politics of the First Republic, and even the Civil War. It is all about the party, not the individual candidate. It will vote whoever the party presents. So are you a party man or woman? The fourth type of voter is the stomach infrastructure voter. Please identify Shegun. Okay? He's going to vote for whoever gives him money or food. He doesn't care about programs, ideology, party, religion, or personality. He's going to vote for whoever allocates money to him or gives him food on election day. If it's a member of a union or an informal organization, it will vote based on allocation through the union boss or organizational head. He knows that after the election, no one will pay attention to him or remember him. And so he doesn't care about promises. His philosophy is simple. A bread in hand is worth two in the bakery. Now, the fifth type of voter is a manifesto voter. It will not consider ethnicity, party, or religion. It's going to vote entirely based on the program presented. It's focused on merit and nothing else. It's looking for the right savior for the country. The sixth type of voter is the businessman. He will put his business interest first. He's going to vote for the candidate he considers business-friendly, one whose policies will create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. He may personally know the candidate and so expect a benefit from the post-election equation, or he may feel he can do business with the government of a particular candidate. The seventh type of voter is the sentimental voter. He or she is going to vote based on sentiments. He or she may vote for a number of reasons. The candidate is handsome like me. The candidate is eloquent. The candidate is cultured. The candidate is intelligent. The candidate is generous. The candidate is charismatic. It doesn't matter. He or she will vote for any sentimental reason. Now, most of these reasons cannot be shared in public. And so the voter is the mirror in conversations and misleads pollsters, because if the poll is taken in an open society, it can't voice its reason for voting a particular way. Now, so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to display a link on the screen right now. Can you see? alderconsulting.com/vote. Now, notice that it's resident on the server of Alder Consulting and not PDP or APC or Labour. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to that place and answer just 4 questions. Very quick. We made it very easy. It's not going to take you a second. It won't take a minute. It's an anonymous poll. Your name is not required. Tick your age range. You find something about age range. You find something about gender, about your location, whether you're in the southwest, southeast, south, north, central, northeast, or northwest, or abroad. And then tell us your motivation for voting. Are you voting on the tribal basis, or religious basis, or party basis, by objective standards, based on the need or your need in the interest of your business, or for reasons you can't divulge in public? Note that what we are looking for is your primary motivation. In other words, you may have the option of voting as a party man, as a religious man, or as a meritorious man. What is going to motivate you to vote in this election is what we're looking for. So quickly do that, and then at the end of my presentation, I'll publish a report for you. I'll be INEC. Oh, it's there. It's there. The bread. Please, can somebody arrest this man? Okay. Have we voted? Please do quickly vote so that I can go on. I'll give you a minute to vote. It's not going to take time. It's just very easy. Just press some buttons. How many people have voted? Okay. There are a lot of you logging on to the server, so it's going to be a bit slow. Okay. So let's go on. Why you vote? Let me do what you call base candidate analysis for you. Now, this is what I do for politicians and for political parties. You do analysis. Because if you want to devise strategy, you've got to do analysis first. Okay? Now, again, let me repeat that I'm restricting myself to the generally accepted 3 front runners. Do you know that there are actually 36 presidential candidates in all? And the source is INEC. Okay, I used to think it was 14 until we did our research and discovered that there were 36. Now, we don't have time to analyze all 36 candidates. So I'm only going to focus on the pros, and I'm only going to focus on the pros of the candidates. Now, the reason I'm focusing only on the pros is so that I don't want a situation in which I'm accused, of trying to persuade people to go a particular way. And I don't want you to say that the badness of my candidate is better than yours. By the time I do this, I'll give you a mind map. You can use the same mind map to do your own cons. So I'm going to do only pros, you do cons, okay? And let that determine, that's what's going to determine your election anyway. So let's go. Now for each candidate, in order to even out scores, I'm going to focus on, I'm not going to give each candidate 12 factors, just 12 factors. You're only going to see 12, 12, 12. Equal number of points per candidate, okay? Now let's start with Alhaji Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, APC, male, 70. Number one, is a consummate, experienced, and very astute politician. You underrate him at your own expense. Number two, he has executive experience. He's a two-term governor of Lagos State, a state with an economy larger than Senegal. It's not the fifth largest economy in Africa, as has been touted, but it's a state larger, it's the economy of Lagos is larger than Senegal. He has the advantage of party incumbency. He has access to resources to propagate the election because elections cost money. He has a formidable party and campaign structure. Number six, he's surrounded by intelligent people and they are loyal to him, some of whom have been with him for upwards of 25 years. He has built a vast political network across the spectrum of Nigeria. He has a behemoth of a media structure behind him, print, TV, and social media. Coming from the Southwest, he has a huge advantage in the Southwest, and he has the backing of the 11 northern governors who voted for him and supported him during the primaries. He has grassroots mobilization capacity, and he has a good grasp of economic policy. He is the ultimate and celebrated kingmaker, hence Emilokon. Second candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, PDP, male, 75 years old. Is a very experienced and astute politician, a deal maker, and a smart businessman. He has an impressive network of friends and associates across the length and breadth of Nigeria. He inherited the Shehu Yaradua legacy and structure, the SDP structure. He is very exposed and intelligent, and is surrounded by intelligent people. He knows how to attract talent. He commands the loyalty of his associates, some of whom have been with him for decades. He has a good media and PR structure, including social media. He has remained in the news. Think about it. He has remained in the news since 1999. He is well-resourced to propagate the election. He is perceived as non-tribalistic. He has a good grasp of economic policy and has a very good team of economists and analysts working for the campaign. He also has a constitutional team working through the difficult concepts called Nigeria for day one presentation. He has executive experience, was elected governor and nominated vice president. He is known as a philanthropist who gives a lot of scholarship. And being from the North Central, he has a huge advantage in North Central Nigeria. He did social investment through the establishment of a university. So those are the 12 factors for Atiku Abubakar. For Peter Obi, Labour Party, male, 60 years old. He is articulate, intelligent, and exposed. He has an evangelistic fervor and he quotes statistics. It is therefore stupid to underrate him. He has executive experience, was governor of Anambra State for 8 years. He has managed to galvanize the youths, especially urban youths. He has managed to create an urban youth movement so far. Being from the Southeast, he has formidable leverage in the Southeast, and is known for prudent management of resources. He doesn't give shishi. He has only one pair of shoes and one wristwatch. He has a good grasp of economics. Number 7, he's attended executive programs at Harvard, Kellogg, Oxford, and Cambridge. He has access to resources to propagate the election. Number 9, he has good media coverage. He's very strong on social media. Number 10, he's very successful in business and has corporate experience in the financial sector. Number 11, he's resilient. He's a resilient contestant. He did 3 years he did 3 years of litigation to claim his gubernatorial ticket, which was stolen, successfully challenged his impeachment as governor, and convinced the Supreme Court that his tenure had to be changed for his term as governor. Number 12, he has a plethora of awards of leadership and excellence in and out of the country, including Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Award for best performing governor on humanization in Southeast Nigeria. So those are your 3 candidates. Okay? Now, this is something that you're going to note. You will notice that all 3 candidates are almost at par when it comes to pros. So what is going to matter is the cons. Now, I will leave that to you because you have enough pros for you to determine your cons. In fact, you can play the cons against each other. Okay? Now, what are the issues that the next government has to tackle? Well, there are only 2 categories of issues, actually. The first one is the immediate and apparent issues. The second one is the fundamentals. So you have immediate and apparent, and then you have the fundamentals. In other words, our issues are not hidden. The 2 immediacies are the economy and the security. The 2 are intricately linked. They form a circular argument, as lawyers are wont to say. If there's no security, the economy suffers. And if the economy suffers, there will be no security. Youths become amenable to the offer of terror evangelists and entrepreneurs. These are the things that we need to do to tackle these immediacies. And I'm going to say some things which may sound radical. Well, give a thought to the things I'm saying, and you'll understand what I'm saying. I've been involved in writing policy for the country for some time now, and I know what I'm talking about. Number 1, cut down waste in government, even if it's only symbolically. Number 2, do more social investment. Make schools and healthcare priorities. Every child must go to school. It must be a crime not to send a child to school. Workers must be healthy or they can't produce. Solve malaria. What the UK did was to genetically modify the Anopheles mosquito such that it cannot produce malaria. We can genetically modify our mosquitoes. In fact, we can make them to be singing hallelujahs. There are also items of sickness and health that are beyond the reach of the average Nigerian. May an average Nigerian not have cancer? It's a death sentence because the cost of treating cancer is so high that it's virtually impossible for a poor man not to die from cancer. Number 3, fight corruption. Apart from the economic cost, it encourages mediocrity and discourages excellence. Number 4, sort out unemployment, but not by absorbing more and more people into the civil service. That's a lazy way of creating jobs, and you're not really creating jobs, you're creating a bureaucracy. Bureaucracies create what you call artificial bottlenecks. This invariably leads to corruption. As it is, our recurrent expenditure is too high. We are practically borrowing to pay salaries. We need to create job creators. So it's not enough to create jobs, you have to create job creators. Number 5, revamp education. Link education to the private sector because the private sector accounts for 80% of GDP. The private sector must have input into the design of syllabi of universities and schools. Give the universities full administrative autonomy. Scrap JAMB. Give the universities grants to manage the transition to full administrative autonomy. Create a better scheme for student loans so that students who can't afford to go to those universities can at least take loans, which they pay over a period of time, 20 years, 25 years, you know, and we have something like that in the country, but it's hardly functional. It should give, and the loans, you know, segment should be private sector managed. It shouldn't be government managed. Convert polytechnics into creative enterprise schools for fashion design, blogging, filmmaking, script writing, culinary courses, special effects, coding, online trading, social media marketing, tour management, hairstyling, interior design, events management, catering, wardrobe styling, songwriting, digital art, car mechanics, music production, talent management, stock trading, photography, club management, artist management, DJing, social media marketing, etc. Now, why am I specifying these particular enterprises? It's because the generation that we're dealing with now is a creative generation. And the best way to create jobs for them is just to put them in the way. Now, the polytechnics are trying to reconfigure what the universities are doing, and that's not practical. That doesn't make sense. So let them be practical places where no theoretician is going to teach in those places. It has to be people in the practice. Do you understand? Now, at Lutz, you don't send in theoreticians to teach medicine. You send those who treat people to teach medicine. So in the same way, if you're going to teach DJing, go and call DJ Copy or anybody who wants to copy anything. Now, these courses will be taught by professionals, not theoreticians. The Creative Arts Institute should be linked to business and incubation hubs and the venture capital industry. We need to democratize internet connectivity in these schools. It should be free. Treat it as a social investment. The youths need it to create value. About 70% of Nigeria's population is under 30. Number 6, fight inflation and the runaway exchange rate with productivity. We have to produce and export. We must support export-oriented enterprises. We need to reorient our customs agency from a policing and seizure mentality to an export support service agency. Or at least let them have a department devoted to export support. Number 7, we need to start up power one way or the other. Abolish the one-cap-fits-all scheme for all regions. It is manifestly illogical. The North should be on solar power. That is just commonsensical. They have the land for the solar panels, they have the heat and the sun for everything. So why are you piping energy from the south to the north? It just doesn't make sense. They should be driving Teslas. Their roofs should be solar powered. Then if you take off their load from what the country is receiving in general, then you create more load for the south to use. Our problems, sometimes Nigeria not going to kill me. Okay, number 8, viciously fight 419. Less than 500,000 people are badly sullied the image of the country, making business very expensive and scaring off credit and investors. 419 is worse than armed robbery. And that's because armed robbery is localized. When thieves come, they are localized to a place, to a region. 419 on the other time has the ability to baptize all of us as criminals. And I'm tired of people examining my green passport and assuming that I'm what I'm not. So we need to viciously fight for 419 because it's an image program. Number 10, reduce regulation and business encumbrances. Reform the business registry in Abuja. The insistence that you have to have a certificate to go into an enterprise is wrong. I am a lawyer and I do brand strategy. The criteria for rejecting certain names are also wrong. In Nigeria, Yahoo will never have been registered. Yahoo simply means you're just yet another hierarchical official oracle. It's just whimsical. Other names are leaping lizard. Such names will not be registered under this present regime. And therefore, you are disenfranchising the youths. And we need the youths. A creative generation must be free to choose the creative names of their enterprises. We can go on and on, but our problems are not intractable. They're just creative challenges. Our real problem is with the fundamentals. There is no conceptual vision for the country, and the logic of our federation is wonky. We're a federated illogicality. We've been struggling with nationhood for years. At some point in that struggle, the struggle became violent, and we prosecuted the 3-year civil war. We have since learned that violence is not the answer. Unfortunately, we resorted to facile schemes like unity schools, JAMB, a new national anthem, a national pledge. We put 2 extra words on our coat of arms, peace and progress, National Youth Service Corps, relocation of the seat of government to Abuja, federal character principle, land use decree, turn-by-turn democracy, rotational presidency, creation of additional states, a new constitution. These schemes were soon turned into instruments of oppression and inequitable distribution of opportunities. We forgot that the most important factors in a federating entity is equity and justice. You can't have a nation if hegemonic mentalism dominates. Great nations are not built by schemes. They're built on powerful vision. I struggle to discern the vision for my country. What exactly do we want to become as a nation? Where is our place in the world? If we can't create a vision, we can at least borrow one. We can borrow from Dubai, for example. It's an overused vision, but we can borrow from those who are successful or are succeeding. Dubai wants to be the economic hub for Africa and the Middle East. That vision is not exactly new. It was borrowed from King Solomon. Between 970 BC and 931 BC, a space of about 40 years, so you can understand the Dubai timeline. King Solomon turned Jerusalem into the trade and commercial hub for Africa and the Middle East. The spoke of that vision extended all the way to East Africa and beyond, some say up to Sri Lanka. The key component of the Dubai vision is logistics. The establishment of Emirates Airline was thus a necessity. It was not a sentimental whim. Without it, people can't pass through Dubai. And if people can't pass through Dubai, Dubai can't be a hub. Emirates Airline does not exist because Dubai wants a national carrier. It exists because it serves the Dubai vision. The simple question I ask myself is, we've been talking about the establishment of a national carrier, or the re-establishment of a national carrier. We've even expended a considerable amount of money designing a logo for the carrier. But what vision is this national carrier going to serve? That is the question. Truth is, we don't have a sensible concept as a nation. In our insufferable arrogance, we keep referring to ourselves as the giant of Africa. We forget that Goliath was killed. It was a prideful buffoon who felt he could win a war by turning into a gladiatorial Olympic contest and making empty declarations and strutting all over the place like a model on a catwalk. To stabilize the country, the government must use the 4 words on our coat of arms. They are mostly decorative right now. Perhaps we can use them to sieve government policies. Before government announces any policy, 4 questions need to be asked. Think of the rotary 4-way test kind of thing. Number 1, will this unite the country? Number 2, will this help our youths develop faith in our nation? Number 3, will this bring peace to Nigeria? And number 4, will this engender progress? Any policy that fails this acid test must be reconsidered. Now, I don't know if you filled the forms and everything. I need to just give you the results. Do you have the results? Okay, my able assistant. Okay. So I have the results here, and I'm going to read it to you. Location. 77.1% of the people that voted online are from the Southwest. 11.9% of the people are from abroad. Then you have slices of other things that are not very clear. But you have locations from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locations. I can't access that information now, but I'll give you. But that's as per those who voted, okay? Number 2, gender. 69.7% male. 30.3% female. Age. 50.5%. 50.5% are 26 to 35. 28.6% are 36 to 45 years old. 13.8% are 46 to 55 years old. 7.4% is above 55. And I think above 55 is, I think, a nonsensical figure, it doesn't matter. But 7.4% are 18 to 25 years old. How will you vote in the upcoming election? This is interesting. 86 or 87%, because the vote is still refreshing, is live. 87% of the people are going to vote based on manifesto. Every other figure is insignificant. Now, please note something. Note something. Note something. Please note something, okay? I know it's exciting, but note something. Now, we are talking about, these are the votes, listen to me, these are the votes of urban youths in a quasi-religious consent or in a quasi-secular context. We don't know how those who don't have access to the internet will vote. We don't know how those who are in the villages will vote. But if I'm a strategist for any of the parties, it's time to throttle out what I'm going to do for the youths in particular and stop talking about religion and party and race and ethnicity and all the things that divide us. The youths are saying something that is what you are going to do in office that matters. Not ethnicity, not religion, and maybe today we just found out that Nigeria has made progress forward from the bastions of ethnicity and religion. Maybe. But I again emphasize that this is the voting result for urban youths in a quasi-secular context. I want to thank you for listening to me. May God bless you, Nigeria.